low-key, and without a doubt, is this the greatest anime rivalry of all time? Good morning, pizza people. It's Time Pizza back today with another video, and today I wanted to talk about the rivalry between Light and L in Death Note. And I really wanted to discuss this like manga rivalry because, you know, like I feel like this is one of those shows that created a rivalry so great that you just honestly have to revisit like so many of their moments, because the game of cat and mouse and back and forth between them, it runs so deep that like Light went to hella great lengths in order to evade capture from L, and L went to hella great lengths in order to prove that Light was Kira. And I honestly believe like just that mental game and how it was like basically a game of chess where pawns had to be sacrificed and people had to die in order for someone to come out the victor. And the fact that when Death Note was getting closer to the ending and L had unfortunately like died in Death Note, a lot of people had lost interest when his like successors Near and that one other dude took over, and it was just boring after that because people were so invested in the game between Light and L and their rivalry that it basically became the main drawing point of the show after a certain point, and people cared less about the Death Note and more about if L was gonna find another clue to get Light closer to capture. And the way it was delivered to us was so much different than a lot of manga are even today, because usually in a lot of shonen manga, right, we get the whole, oh, this person is slightly better than our main character, or they are kind of cooler than our main character and have a lot more clout, so in turn our main character hyper focuses on them as somebody that they want to surpass, therefore they become their rivalry. And instead with Death Note, right, like the rivalry between L and Light is more of a, oh, we're both hella smart and we think the world is pretty boring, so let's play a death game of let's see who's the smartest person in the world, right? And I feel like just that premise alone forces like the writer of Death Note to be like hella smart as well and to put hella smart writing into it, because you can't be unsmart and write hella smart characters, you know what I mean? Like, we were able to see both Light and L's perspective to the point that we were both able to have good reasons for why we wanted either of them to come out on top. And I think it really does speak to the fact that we haven't gotten a shonen rivalry like nearly as close or as good as like, you know, one between L and Light since Death Note has been out. That's not to say that I don't appreciate other shonen manga rivalries, because I appreciate like your Ichigo and Uryu, your Naruto and Sasuke's, your Asta and whatever his brother's name is. I just know he looks like Sasuke, and the Goku and Vegeta's. Like, I appreciate all those type of rivalries, but a rivalry based purely on brains and purely on like what you're guessing the other one is gonna do, is like the whole time like Light and L were going back and forth. They were just pump faking the other to get the other one to reveal what they were gonna do. Light was just trying to get L's name. L was just trying to figure out who Kira was, but he really already knew who Kira was. It was Light, and the fact that he just couldn't prove it all the way up until the end. And for a lot of people, when L died and when L's like whole little arc was over or whatever, Death Note ended as well. I think that just speaks to a testament of how good that rivalry was. It literally carried the show. Like, the Death Note premise didn't even carry the show anymore after a while when L died, bro. Like, a lot of people was like, it feels like Death Note is over, and it didn't even feel as satisfying when Light died because he didn't lose to L. He lost to his basic discount successors that couldn't equivalate the sheer like brain and the sheer like intensity that was on screen when L was there. And I think like the fact that a writer was able to make his character so good that the fact that he wasn't able to write his manga anymore without that character just speaks to how good of a manga that like Death Note had when that rivalry was on screen. Like, even when Light was by himself, right, and L was gone, and he was just like going against basically the GCPD and whoever else wanted to capture him, right, it just wasn't exciting even seeing Light as much on screen, because it felt like, you know, it was over with. You won the game, bro. Like, it's just the prologue, bro. Like, a lot of Death Note just felt over and felt empty without L's presence, and I feel like it would have been the same way, for example, if Light had died and instead, like, L had to go against Misa Misa or something. I don't know, something like that, right? And he had to fight another Death Note user. It wouldn't have felt as exciting because it's not those two specific characters, and L's like basically solemn demeanor, and the fact that Light was way more reactive, but they were basically on the same level mentally when it came to like thinking and outsmarting each other. It was like so interesting to see their inner monologues as they would look at each other from across the room and be totally cool on the outside, but on the inside they're thinking of a million ways that one is tricking the other. That rivalry is just purely legendary, bro. Like, it was so intense and ice cold whenever these two characters were in the room together. But I want you all to let me know, like, how do you think, or how do you feel about the Death Note rivalry between Light and L? Do you think like there's anything that even comes remotely as close to it? Do you think anybody else could write something as cool? Because as of right now, I don't see any manga matching it. Let me know in the comment section below, and until next time, my name is Time Pizza, and I will see you pizza people on the other side of the slice. Like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.